Welcome to the Jeff Crilley Show. And now, here's Jeff Crilley.
Welcome back to the Jeff Crilley Show. Every once in a while you hear this on the news that a hospital has been held hostage by ransomware. My next guest is Keith Barthold. He is the CEO of DKBInnovative. Welcome to the Jeff Crilley Show.
Thank you, Jeff. Thanks for having me.
So you work with physicians groups and doctors and hospitals and other industries. But when we hear about ransomware, what does that mean?
Yeah, so ransomware is really a way that hacking has become a very profitable business. This year, now it's $1 billion industry, and it used to be that hacking was just a fun way to take somebody's computer system down. Now people are infecting a hospital network or a physician practice, really in any industry for that matter, basically encrypting files and then holding them ransom. So, pay us $10,000 in Bitcoin and we will unencrypt your data and give you your data back. So then you have a choice. Do you pay that, and then maybe they ask for another $5,000 after you've paid it,
Right.
or be stuck with potential data loss.
And I know about a year or so ago, the FBI, I believe it was, sent out a message. In some cases, just pay it. It's going to be cheaper than the alternative. And if you're talking about life-saving equipment in a hospital, that is tied to the computer network, in some cases it is cheaper to just pay the terrorists.
Right, and it's more than that. You own a PR company. Obviously, the press that can come along with that, hospitals and healthcare just want to avoid that. And then if it does hit the media, you've got to deal with the potential of a HIPAA audit behind that, and what were you doing wrong in the first place? And those fines average about $2.3 million per incident right now. So
Wow.
Just to keep that on the down low is sometimes a choice that's made.
And I know our business is good for you, but your business has been growing by leaps and bounds. Tell us
Sure.
your history. When did you start?
Yeah, so came up through Perot Systems, was in the executive program there. Then we were acquired by Dell. So 10 years there, serving in healthcare that entire time. Started the company just kind of to see what would happen, and really in the end of that, after bringing about 60 hospitals live with electronic medical records and about 150 practices, noticed that there's really a different way that this could be done. And so we put a lot of innovation against it, relaunched the company about 4 years ago as I exited the corporate world, and just really launched from there.
Absolutely. I know one of the things that you're passionate about, we've talked about it off the air, is customer service and response time, so that, if one of your clients has a problem at 4 a.m, it becomes a priority for you. It's not something that we'll get to after the weekend.
For sure. Yeah, that's very important. And interestingly enough, traditionally IT has really been measured on SLAs and response times. And while that's important, what I would ask a client is, so what does an SLA look like? Is that a 4-hour response time? If your network's down, then how are you feeling about me after about 3 hours and 50 minutes, right?
Right.
So, we really spun up the company looking at how can we dramatically impact productivity by reducing those issues. So if I can control IT, if I can move IT to best practices, we've found that on average we can reduce a client's ticket count, which is a direct measure of that impact on productivity, 50 to 75% reduction in that count. And so then the game changes, right?
Absolutely. And is that one of the reasons why your company is growing so quickly?
For sure. We've just won an award that's about to be published in CIO Review magazine for top productivity tools of 2016. About 20 of us nationally received that. But I think the industry is starting to recognize that there's a better way to do IT, and if you can transform it and you can really reduce those ticket counts and the productivity impact, then you can change how people work. And then IT is really a
Mm-hmm.
a game changer for
Absolutely.
a client.
Well, I was on your blog, and you had a couple of interesting articles that I just read. One of them was about how employees can do some damage to the company by clicking on different things that come their way. Let's talk about that. What are some tips that you would give companies about how their employees should be treating the computer network?
For sure. Yeah, I think it really comes down to training. And as we talk about ransomware and talk about CryptoLocker, there are multiple layers of defense and ways to prevent that. But one of those that is often the biggest problem is someone installs a program accidentally by opening up an email, going out to a website that they shouldn't have, and just not being properly trained on that. So what we're actually doing is doing phishing tests. So we would send out an email, and maybe it has a Microsoft logo on it. Maybe it really looks legitimate, and would ask users to reset their password. And then we're going to send the executive a report that shows how many people opened up that email,
Wow.
how many people clicked on the link, how many people actually typed their password in on a non-Microsoft website thinking that they were resetting their password.
Wow.
When in reality they could have infected their network with ransomware. And so then you can take an action plan on that and train your people based on the results that you've seen.
Wow. Do companies call you in to give a little seminar to the employees on the do's and don'ts?
They do, and we do have training programs with clients, and really, doing a constant gap analysis is the best way to describe it. To look at what best practices are and how their people need to be trained and use technology, and do a gap analysis against that, and really make the executives aware that, look, there's some room for improvement here, and if you can improve your workforce and how they use technology, then productivity will soar, and you're going to move the business forward.
I've heard that what a lot of these hackers will do is that they will seize on a national news event like, you won't believe what Donald Trump just said. Click on this video, and it's not really a video. It's spyware.
Right. So what we like to do is just teach people, what is legitimate and what could be dangerous. And another element to that is to have the right protection and tools in place. Traditional antivirus is very reactive. It waits until you get a virus before it attempts to clean it. That doesn't work with ransomware. And so there are layers of technology you can put in place so that people can't get to a malicious website.
Wow.
It blocks it.
Tell me your ideal client. What spaces are you in? We mentioned physicians groups.
Yeah, a lot of healthcare. Obviously, given the background and really the firepower of my team, I have former leaders in healthcare that are working for me. Healthcare and anything that really has a true dependency on IT, where IT is a game changer. Those executives that realize that, if IT is really a game changer and can move the company forward, then I need to invest in that to make my team work better. So, our clients are between 15, 20, up to about 300 employees.
Got it. Let's talk about passwords. I know people, I need to change my password. But passwords are really, sometimes I see these studies that every year the most popular password is the word password, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Right.
I mean, what's the deal with passwords? Why is it so tough to get people to create a difficult password?
Well, I think one of the things is there are so many passwords, right? If you think about, especially in a work environment where you have multiple applications, now you've got applications that live in the cloud, on premise. You've got your typical social media passwords, right? So, we're really a fan of centralizing those, using single sign-on and using technologies so that in a workplace, you don't have to remember 100 different passwords.
Right.
We can boil that down to a handful, and then it automatically translates and uses single sign-on technology.
Is somebody told me that a good passport is one that's not found in the dictionary. So like if you wrote the word Mississippi but used dollar signs instead of S's, that you're on the right track.
For sure. Yeah, and I think having a lengthy password, having 10 characters plus, having a mixture of characters and, have dollar signs, exclamation points, things that aren't often used, goes a long ways.
Right. Well, talk to me about the growth of your company, and you've just been doing this now for 4 years on your own. Is that right?
Correct. Right.
And in 2012, I guess when you started, what was the economy doing? Was that a tough time for you?
It was pretty tough. Yeah. I think realizing that where we're at here in Dallas, there are a lot of businesses that are serious about moving forward quickly and really embracing technology and not just seeing it as a necessary evil. So, we really embrace that that desire for companies to grow and move forward and embrace technology. And so we knew from starting out that there was a better way to do it. And if you can use that to improve the life of each employee, then, let's invest in the biggest expense, which on your P&L, which is probably your payroll.
Right. How are companies hearing about you? How are you getting the word out?
I do probably 4 or 5 meetings with doctors and small business owners and executives each week just to sit down and do a consultation. Mm-hmm. So I wouldn't really call it sales. It's really just sitting down and asking, how do you measure IT? How do you measure success in IT today? What are you doing today? If I can leave there and give them a different perspective, then my job's done. And hopefully a large percentage of those will go back and really evaluate how they're managing technology and go, well, yeah, Keith has shown a better way here, and those will become clients.
And, we just had a personal branding expert talking about, how you present yourself to the world. And I really like the way you present yourself to the world, Keith. You have a genuine smile about you. You're not a slick used car salesman. People like you, don't they?
I like to think so.
So when you'll meet a doctor perhaps at a cocktail party or something like that and strike up a conversation, and the next thing you know, you guys are doing business together. Is that genuinely how it works?
I wish it was always that easy, but yeah, just sitting down and being genuine, being real with people, mm-hmm. And knowing that there's a lot of different ways to implement technology and to use technology, mm-hmm. and really, giving a doctor a perspective. I know in their world specifically, doctors live in a world where they're spending as much time wrestling with technology, mm-hmm. and paperwork as they are tending to patients. And so if we can make things work better for them, make things work faster, they can take care of patients, which is really their passion and why they got into the industry.
Well, somebody told me that health data is some of the most expensive hacker bait on the planet. Like if a hacker wants to make some money by stealing information, they want to steal medical records because they can sell that. Your birth date Absolutely. Is on there, Social Security. I guess the question is, certainly doctors and hospitals are aware that they're being targeted. Are you finding that most of them are being proactive enough to prevent it?
By and large, no. I think there is there's a focus on surviving on the small side of, mm-hmm. of healthcare and doing what you need to do to provide great patient care. And rightfully so. I couldn't tell you how to do heart surgery, right? I'm not a doctor. The doctor's focus is not on the technology, and so by and large, we see a lot of gaps and a lot of holes, and it's not their fault. It's just they didn't know because technology is moving at such a rapid pace.
Right.
You've got to come up with a way to fill those gaps, and apply a very solid, process.
Absolutely.
To IT.
Well, so our PR firm does business with a lot of doctors, and my experience has been that they're brilliant at taking care of patients and medicine, but medical school didn't teach them how to run a business, certainly didn't teach them anything about computers, and so in many respects, they're kind of sitting ducks for the bad guys, are they not?
For sure, yeah. I mean, their focus is obviously not on IT, and so that's where we come in. If we can focus on IT, they can focus on great patient care and get the two working together correctly, and those medical practices, they can really take off.
Do you pride yourself, Keith, on just kind of like one-stop shopping for IT so that if a physician hires you, they don't have to hire multiple vendors, they can just put it in your capable hands?
For sure. I mean, it's like this. You need the skill set that a CIO would provide, but you're not going to put a 150, 170K salaried CIO on staff.
Mm-hmm.
But you need that type of strategy, someone that will provide a budget for you and show you exactly what you need, give you those options. And we really do become that one-stop shop so that you're not having to determine what's the best cloud service technology, what's the best carrier. My copy machine guy, I don't know whether the pricing is good here. I don't know if this is the right number of features, phone systems. We tie all that in together, and we do the full vendor management. So those vendors no longer report to you. They report to DKB. Mm-hmm. And with the leverage we bring and the skill set, we can surface those options and then make recommendations and vet those vendors for our clients.
And another thing that impresses me about you, Keith, is your character. You're a good guy, and you know that you don't grow a business by taking shortcuts or doing wrong by people.
Right.
So if you run into a physician who says, well, do I need this or do I need that, you're not just trying to upsell them or trying to get them to spend more money, are you?
No, not at all. I wasn't raised that way. I grew up on a farm. I think we were talking about that a minute ago, Jeff. My parents told me to work hard and do people right, and that's really at the center of our core values, to do whatever it takes and to have just unquestionable integrity.
Well, do you find that your physicians are referring other physicians to you?
They are. It does happen. So, the more we work in healthcare, the more we realize that it's a small world. Everyone's connected in one way or another. And so if I can make a complete change in a physician's business
mm-hmm.
and turn that around and really make technology to where it's a non-issue, and then they're going to tell their friends, and doctors usually run in pretty small circles.
Are some physicians still kind of in the paper age where their data is not on a computer? They
are. Yeah, it happens, and we see a mixture. We see a lot of cases where someone is kind of a toe in the water mm-hmm. with electronic medical records, and rightfully so. A lot of times they haven't had someone that has guided them, and it just feels safer to use the paper, but that becomes a crutch and ends up slowing them down in the long run if they can't find the right solution.
Well, we've got less than a minute left, so I'll give you some kind of parting advice to physicians, and then give us your contact information.
Yeah, so I guess parting advice to physicians would be just to really look at security, look at HIPAA compliance, realizing that there are different ways to do things, and fundamentally, if you can move that practice into best practices and IT is solid, you can focus more on patient care.
And give us that website.
It's DKBInnovative.com.
Awesome.
You can reach us at 469-828-2468.
Keith, thank you for being on the Jeff Crilley Show.
Thanks, Jeff.
Have a good weekend.